I didn't know I was getting back on, but I saw something that I have to watch. I have to look at right now. So give me a moment while I get the chat up and everything, but I have to watch it. I figured, hey, I might as well watch it with y'all live, because I was going to watch it anyway. Oh yeah, let's do that too real quick. I'm uploading stuff to YouTube as we speak as well, so yeah. This is crazy though. Like I said, I was gonna get off and make a beat, and then I seen this video. I was like, man, I gotta get back on. Watch it real quick. Matter of fact, nah, we'll play Battlefield too. I wasn't gonna play no video games, but we'll play Battlefield. I'll have it turned down though, so we can hear what everybody's saying. Damn, man. I wish I would have known this was on here before I switched over, because like I said, I wasn't even planning on streaming or nothing, getting back on. But I'm here now, so fuck it. Let's see. It's not that video, obviously. It's this video. All right, cool. Give me 1 second. All right, let's see what we got here. This is funny. So let's start from the beginning. I watch this guy's videos. Pretty good. Go over there, like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. But let's start out.
How many pimps do you think are operating in Las Vegas?
Thousands.
Thousands?
Thousands, yeah. In the beginning, I didn't know I was gonna get traffic, that I was gonna have a pimp control all my money and watch my every move.
So this was modeling before. This was when I was traffic.
$5,000.
For an hour?
Yeah, right there. She's working.
She's working.
She's working. A lot of people don't want to get on camera. They're afraid to tell their story because this is real. Oh my God, $69.
They think it's just what we do, what we like to do. But sometimes when you've been forced to do it, it's a whole different ballgame.
What used to be on the dark web is moving right into your Instagram.
What got both of you out of this?
If you don't make your quota every night, you can't come home.
What's a quota usually? This is a world I don't know much of, and a lot of my viewers know very little about. So we're gonna learn a lot today.
Yes, we are, and I'm excited.
All right, guys, today we have a super interesting story. We're going to meet up with a former prostitute who made her career here on the Las Vegas Strip, who has since had an intervention, got out of the industry, and life purpose is to get other prostitutes off the street. She's gonna show us the ins and outs of what goes on here, and then bring us on to the home that she started that rehabs these women, gives them job training, therapy, and the skills to get into something else in life. So we got a great opportunity to get fantastic insight of what goes on here on the Strip.
Disclaimer. Let's skip that part.
I don't want to get you in trouble with the channel.
Why?
I don't want to say certain names, you know?
This is where you work?
Casinos or something?
The Las Vegas Strip.
How many years ago?
Oh my gosh, from 1987 to 98. like full-time in the escort services.
In all of these hotels?
Yes, absolutely. And not only that, sometimes houses that are very high-class houses around the valley, but only if it was a special buyer that was looking to purchase girls like us.
This is your friend Ashley?
Yes, this is my friend Ashley.
Ashley's got stories too?
Yeah, she
What up,
does.
Ashley?
She's definitely a beauty here, aren't you?
Thank you.
You know, modeling is a thing. That's what pulled you in.
Yeah.
Modeling.
Yep.
Is that a common
Modeling.
story? The modeling?
Actually, it is. And they're actually targeting more like teens and all that. So people really need to get educated on it.
Okay, they're targeting teens right now for modeling.
Yeah.
And then they bring them into prostitution?
Yeah. It's like a setup.
And honestly,
It's like a setup.
if you think about it, prostitution denotes choice. When you don't have a choice and you're mentally wounded and you've gotten, you know, this complex trauma thing from being raised as, like me, this background, hers is a little different. That's why I like both of our stories, because the background that I had was complex trauma filled, with my father abusing my mother in
Trauma dumping.
front of us kids and then abusing us kids. So it was normal for me to look for a strong man that took charge, because that's who my daddy was.
Okay.
And it's funny because
So you saying that because your dad was a terrible guy, you picked terrible guys? I think that's what she said.
the pimp hoe game, that's the one I come from the
Pimp and the
original.
hoe
We the
game.
original OGs, just to let you know, we the original. I don't care anyone tries to replace us.
What,
He said we be original.
pimp and hoe what?
Pimp and hoe parties.
What do you mean, the original of the parties?
Yeah, we were like the original inspiration for all of that. The decade that I come from, the 80s and the early 90s.
Okay, so this is a
Right.
world I don't know much of, and a lot of my viewers know very little about. So we're gonna learn a lot today.
Yes, we are, and I'm excited.
She
So
was
you
talking
see
to
a couple
Ebonics.
different worlds
She said,
going
"We
on
be."
when you go into casinos,
Oh,
right?
absolutely. Like
Okay.
I have to fight my flesh from being triggered from my past, and to
Casinos.
believe and know that I'm in the reality that I'm in right now. Because
explain
it's
that.
so strong. The senses and
He
the
went out.
feelings and the surroundings and the colors and the nuances and the different people walking by, I can literally look in a crowd, point out pimps, people that are being trafficked. I can point out men that are buying, so we call them tricks,
You know, the tricks,
Johns,
pimps and the
Marks.
hoes.
I can see in this crowd right now who would be a potential buyer of someone that is underage or someone that's 18 and over.
This bathroom
What's she
is the
talking
one that I
about?
would go to touch up my makeup or whatever, refreshing up after doing dates, which is going to the tricks or client's
talking
room,
about a
whatever
whole
buyer's
bath.
room, doing what you gotta do. And then I'd go here, and then I'd walk down there to go up and like meet more people and see what I could do.
Yeah.
So this
Right?
it's been a long time since I've seen this bathroom.
Okay,
It's so familiar.
let's just be honest. This is prime real estate,
Yeah.
right at the heart of the strip. Prime real estate
Yeah.
for making big money,
Yeah.
making thousands and thousands of dollars. We're not talking $20. Yeah,
A day,
not $20
yeah.
tricks, not five. Like we're talking 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 for one trick to turn.
When you say tricks, what's a trick
A
exactly?
trick is when a person
She sound like
pays
she
for
still
sex.
like it,
And
romanticizing.
that's-
there's
The
a money
full-
exchange. Yes.
The full.
Not all the time. Sometimes you just take your clothes off and then you run out the room.
Okay.
Because if the guy that's buying doesn't
saying
have enough
she
money to do
finessing.
everything, you don't have to give him everything if you don't want to. You just run.
Just run.
Okay. Memories.
So by the bathroom is the ATM, so you can bring.
I don't know if she trying to like tell her story or if they romanticizing about it, because it sounds like they're romanticizing about it. But you know, we'll wait to reserve judgment until a little bit later since this shit just started. But yeah, it sounds like she romanticizing her past.
Whoever down or find someone over here, oh, let's get a couple drinks. And it's so interesting. And then in the bathroom, there's a long length mirror. I kind of want to show you. I would stand in front of this mirror and look behind me as guys would pass by.
Oh, wow.
And I'd be like, ooh, and I like smile in the mirror and wink or whatever, and then come out and get a date. And then the ATM's right
crazy.
there.
Ashley, I just thought about it. Let's walk over to. Let's show him
She-
that bathroom down in the basement.
They were
That's
so
why I used to
excited.
hide him from all the vice and all the pimps. Oh my God, you got to see this thing. I used to sit in there where the shutters are, and I would just sit and wait and see if there's a rich guy. or someone that looks like he has money, if I was in between calls of the escort service, because I was super busy, I would sit there and wait to see if I could catch me a whale.
A whale is just a high roller?
That's right. I would sit there, and right where the little curtains are, you could sit there and have a drink really inconspicuously and just hang out and look around and spy at the tables. And then this bar, I don't know how many nights I sat at that bar, girl. I would sit here and I would just be looking around like, hey, is any action going on? And there would be guys coming to sit at the bar, and I'm like, so what are you doing here? Like, what's going on? Are you by yourself? They're like, yeah, why? I just want to see if you want some company tonight. They're like, are you saying what you're saying, what I think you're saying? Yes.
This bar I would always sit at and just have a drink, whatever. The second chair is where I first got arrested. It was even more messed up, is that the undercover had Jack and Coke or Captain or whatever, and it was real because my ex-trafficker dude at the time told me, you know, if they're not really drinking, then they're probably undercover. He was drinking because I sipped it. And then my dude called and I was like, yeah. He's like, where are you at? And I told him, I was like, I got a date in front of me. I got arrested. And then we walked all the way in the back to like the secret area by the elevators. Yeah.
You and the undercover.
Yeah.
How many years ago?
Oh man, 2013.
When did you both get out of this?
So she got out after me. First time that I got out was 1998 because I got engaged to one of my tricks.
What? See, that's
how
what
much
they
are
be
the
doing.
most expensive?
That's how they get out the game.
Oh, gosh. The Louis Vuitton.
That's how they get out the game.
Louis Vuitton's here. This one right here.
Both of them. Oh, the pink one? That's cute.
A lot of them get out the
This
game
is very
like
cute.
that.
I've never seen that.
But I
Trick
really
be a
love
rest
this.
haven
This
for a
is kind of
hoe
my
sometime.
thing right here.
Yeah.
This like chameleon like rainbow thing. This totally matches what I have on today. You have to understand that this was part of our lifestyle.
The shoes.
Clothing. If I wanted to get more cash out of them, I would take them shopping with me. I'd say, oh, I want to go to Tiffany and get a couple, a diamond ring.
You
Oh,
teach
I
them
want
how
a
to
Louis
finesse.
Vuitton. I want a Chanel purse. Right there.
So the movie Pretty Woman, sort of like that?
Do you know that that's all the girls that are called girls? That's our fantasy. When I saw that movie, I saw
To
it
be
with my
Julia
trafficker.
Roberts.
I saw that with my trafficker
She
when
ain't
it
no
first
real
came out.
hoe.
And I left the movie. I was
She might have hoed a little bit, but she ain't no real hoe. She's romanticizing. She's so happy about her little stories and shit.
walking out of the theater. We were in Hollywood at the time.
Yeah.
I walked out of the theater and I was bawling my eyes out. And he goes, and I'm just gonna be honest about what he said.
yeah.
What are you crying about, bitch?
My bad.
And then I was like, what did you just say to me? He's like, you fake bitch. What are you crying about? I go,
I'm actually probably switch games because this game is too hard to play right now. I'm trying to look at Instagram and shit, trying not to die and shit. You know what I mean? So I might switch games to Diablo 4 so I can scroll Instagram a little bit more while I
you
watch
don't get
this
it,
video.
do you? That's what I want. I want that.
Las Vegas.
That's who I want in my life.
I'm
He's like, well,
fucking
you ain't
thing.
getting that with me, bitch. I'm a pimp. The first trick I
ain't
turned in
getting that
Las
with me, bitch.
Vegas
I'm a pimp.
was at a certain bar that was very famous. A lot of people went to
Man,
it.
just tell the damn
And
bar
it was near
name.
a nightclub inside a very famous
The
casino
Dre's?
that we're walking towards right now. And I sat at the
Oh,
bar and I had on a
Cromwell? Fuck,
blue,
I'm stuck.
beautiful sweater cardigan from the 50s. And it had on a real short mini skirt with spike black sparkle heels. No nylons, totally tan. My legs were
Come on,
shiny.
bro. I'm just trying
and
to
I
get
was just
across the
sitting there
street.
like all sexy. And this guy walked up to me and he's like, hey, do you know what time it is? I said, really, dude? I said, you have a watch on your hand right now. Seriously?
Know what time
he
it
ended
is?
up giving me
That's funny.
$1,000 just to go upstairs and talk. So I
That's
did.
it. So you weren't a prostitute at this point?
No, I was. I was already
Of
turned out.
course she was,
Okay,
bro.
I'd already
What's
been in
going on?
Hawaii.
How did you start?
So
She
I
already been in
started
Hawaii.
because
That's,
I was in
that's
Minnesota
her.
at the time. I had 3
That's-
jobs. My girlfriend and I were going out to the nightclubs.
That was her barometer of what's real. She was like, nah, I've already been to Hawaii. That's funny. That is funny. He's like, no, I already been to Hawaii.
With fake IDs. I was a teenager, and she and I met these 2 guys at the bar, and they were pimps, and we didn't know it. They were undercover pimps. So this
Undercover
goes in
pimps,
front of
what
the
the
casino.
fuck?
You have more like a good view.
Okay,
Right there. Right there. She's working.
she's working.
She's working.
How do you know? Just because she's dressed?
100%.
How do you know?
Of course she's
Her
working.
face, the way she's looking, the energy.
A lot more at night though, right?
Oh my gosh, so much more at night. During the day is like a safe shift. That's what we call it. I call it the renegade shift because when I left both of my pimps, specifically my first trafficker, I should say, I worked during the day because I knew that he was sleeping all day long because he was up at night all, you know. That's when you make the most money. You make the most money when people are drinking, people are getting high on cocaine, people are getting high on weed or fentanyl, whatever it looks like. They're popping pills and they're calling the escort service and you're making them happy.
Okay, so origin story, you're in Minneapolis, your friend, you're going out to clubs, a pimp, you meet a pimp.
Yes, I met this pimp and I did not go with him. My girlfriend went with the other guy. The other guy became a very well-known pimp here in Las Vegas. He brought her out to Hawaii, and then when we went to Hawaii, I turned my first trick on the Waikiki Beach.
Waikiki.
With a Japanese man, and I didn't have to have any sex.
Just,
going up this
I'll
way.
go this way, I'll go right here. You didn't have to have any sex, what'd you do with him?
All I did is take my clothes off.
Yeah.
And the guy freaked out, and he kind of lost it.
Dates.
It was less than 3 minutes, and I just walked out, and I thought, who would not do this for a living?
Right.
Like, who would not get $500 or $1,000, $2,000 just to take their clothes off? Because I'm in like Flynn, let's do this, you know?
She was turned down like a motherfucker.
But Amy today would say no, right?
But here's the thing, of course, but
of course,
there was no internet back then. This was 1987, such an underground world. It was so taboo and so attractive. It just drew me in like the Twilight Zone.
You say it's attractive, but a lot of women would say that's very unattractive.
You know what? Right? I have to be honest with you, on my flesh and my wants and needs of the human body of a female, it's very attractive to me because I can meet a very wealthy man, I can meet a good-looking man, I can find a man that could take care of me and my family for the rest of my life, and I'll be happy. And that's our idea and fantasy we sell ourselves when we get into the business.
Okay, so you have that Richard Gere fantasy from Pretty Woman.
Absolutely.
Like you're gonna meet that guy, and it's, you know, off into the sunset. But you're not using logic because logic says, here's a trick, here's an amount of money, here's an amount of time, and it's over.
Right.
Oh, no, thank you, ma'am.
She's probably being trafficked herself right now, labor trafficked.
You think?
Oh yeah, she's so aggressive. There's reasons why people are like that, and that's happening in our city a lot. Not just sex trafficking, but labor trafficking of the Asian community. It's a great advantage for the traffickers to really take advantage of all the different countries and cultures of different people that can't speak English.
Okay, so I don't want to put Vegas under the bus because I was just here with my wife. We had a great time. Like, there's so much amazing stuff here. The performance, Cirque du Soleil, right?
Yeah.
Or like any of the shows. Murray the Magician.
Yes.
Did a video with him. Such a cool guy, right?
Yeah.
But they're just different. They're different levels here, right?
Yeah, there is. And
operating at the same time. Like you're saying that lady's trafficked, potentially.
She potentially is, the way she's acting. See how aggressive she was, pushed you and tried to make you take her card.
Yeah.
You only do that if you're under the gun trying to make some money. So she's trying to make her commission. If she doesn't make her commission for her trafficker, she's gonna get in trouble. Or her family won't eat. Or her kids will be taken away by the traffickers. They're forcing you, force, fraud, and coercion. That's the definition of sex trafficking and labor trafficking. It's anytime someone forces you to do labor or sex and you're getting paid and they're controlling it, or they're physically using violence as a threat.
Okay.
And hurting your family, hurting maybe your animals. One of my animals got killed because I didn't do what my pimp said.
Back to the start, though. You wanted to do this.
I did.
Okay.
It was my choice in the beginning.
So it was your choice.
It was.
So then what do you mean by the pimp says you have to, like you're under the control of the pimp, you can't bounce out?
And listen, I was totally against pimps, and that's where this comes into play.
Okay.
Because if y'all know that song, I'm not gonna say the name of it. The song has a female and a male rapping back and forth. This back then was underground explicit lyrics. It was in the 80s. There's been rumors that this man was never even a pimp, but he got these lyrics from, he was a talented writer. They're not, you know, some people say this guy was a pimp, some people say he wasn't a pimp. But so it goes like this, the pimp says, say ho. And then he says, you like to, oh, you like me to say make love? And then he says, I saw you walking down the street and I had to stop. Turn up the radio and drop the top. I said, you look so good. You look so fine, young tender. Would you be mine? I drive it in my car. I take you to my house because I'm a Mac. I cold turn you out. I won't ask and I sure won't beg. Reach right over and rub the leg. I take a hand behind this mini skirt. I'm not even gonna say the rest of the thing, okay? So
well,
the girl's response, you provoke no
short?
feeling. You must have forgot girls with whom you're dealing. I haven't the urge to get busy like the dizzy lizards who used to dance for you. You're through, I can't put it more blunt. Your vocab is restricted. You're addicted to the words you inflicted time after time, lie after lie. Talking about the bitches that are on your mind. Do they call you short? Is it your height or your width? Diss me, boy, I'll hang your balls from my clip. The reason why I like that rap is because my ex-trafficker loved that artist.
Right.
And I was the girl saying, I am not gonna be pimped by you. I will never choose up with you. Choose denotes a choice, making it seem like you chose the pimp, you chose the trafficker to be your daddy, so to speak. All the girls are told you have to call us daddy. Daddy this and daddy that, because you're in this family, this stable of women that's sharing the same man.
Right.
They're having sex with the same man.
So all the prostitutes are having sex with their pimps.
We call them sex trafficking victims, but not all of them are. Yeah.
You don't say prostitutes?
I don't call them prostitutes because anytime you have a trafficker, they're being trafficked.
Okay, so anyone that has a pimp is a sex traffic victim? But what if they want to pop out? I'm sure some pimps are like, whatever.
What if they want to pop out?
Well, the thing is, when I used to work, when you leave a pimp, you leave with nothing, first of all. Number two, when you leave, you get beat down, hunted down. They send their handlers to find you, and you get kidnapped, which happened to me. I got all my hair cut off in front of 6 pimps, and they brought their girls to this, checking of me. They call it, I was getting served. And my ex-trafficker made me take all my clothes off, my pimp, and he said, bend your head down. And he had a gun to my head like this. And I bend my head down, and I heard the razor turn on. Zzz, and he shaved all my hair off.
Damn, bro.
Because he knew that my money was part of my look. Like my long, blonde, curly, pretty hair, right? And back then, I didn't have colors like I do now. So, what's so funny about, and that was traumatizing. I was totally nude. He beat me with a tire from a fireplace, and he was checking me in front of the other pimps. The pimps were like, man, check that. He was spitting on me like loogies, like, and in my face. And then he took the poker from the fireplace and he just went, boom! And my leg right here got, the muscle got completely killed. So I to this day, I can feel like on my muscle tissue that there's like a void of muscle right there. And he had me there at that lure, at the lure of the pimps for probably about 6 hours. And then he brought me back to my own house. And he already had a girl waiting, sleeping in my bed.
Already,
and I had left him. I had left him, Peter. I wasn't with him anymore. And he kidnapped me back into the stable.
Already. That's crazy.
You'll see the casino grade cameras, but they have face recognition now. They never used to, and they could recognize anybody and find anybody if they're looking for them. That's just the way it is.
So, as a whole in Vegas, do the casinos know about this
Absolutely.
system? What's going on?
They're being trained. I've trained several casinos already. I train casinos.
They hire you?
Yep. I've trained security how to spot girls, how to not trigger them out and treat them, how to treat them with respect when they're telling them to leave the property, how to offer them services when they're trying to get away from their pimp. They need that. So what percentage of girls right now are under full control of their pimps? Here's a security. This is where I used to get kicked out right here. This is their main. Clayton used to be his name. He was head of security. He would sit right here.
Oh, okay.
And there's a back door that they take you in, right here. Okay, do you remember this bar, Ashley? Yeah. This one. Man, my pimp used to come here dancing. Cleopatra's Barge.
Okay,
this was our spot.
So you come dancing with your pimp. This guy controls you, treats you like shit, but you still love him?
I was in love with him. He couldn't do anything wrong. Like,
women are confusing.
He was my partner for life. He was like the love of my life. He was my everything. He was my best friend. I felt like he understood me. I went to Hawaii, turned my first trick, and came back, quit all 3 of my jobs from Minnesota.
She said,
and then that's where I met my pimp up in Minnesota at the Skyway Lounge on Hennepin Avenue in Minneapolis. I brought him with me here.
Okay.
Because my girlfriend moved here, the one that went to Hawaii. She moved to Vegas. She said, girl, there is so much money here. If you don't get down here, Annie, I'm making thousands every night, thousands. She's like, girl, this is the place. That's the bar. And it was different back then. There was no walls. Right now it's called the Vista Cocktail Lounge, but it was a different bar. Like
so let me understand this better. You're a competent, educated person. You had jobs. Didn't you see the writing on the wall, like what this world would be like? Couldn't you sort of see?
You know.
Or what? Or it's just the rush of the money?
Yeah, the rush of the money. In the beginning, I didn't know I was going to get trafficked. I didn't know that I was going to have a pimp control all my money and abuse me and control me and watch my every move and take advantage of me and beat me down when I didn't do what he said and slap me when I looked at another pimp. When I was walking and look at another man, he would get so jealous, he would just backhand me. And I would just sit there like this. I wasn't allowed to look up. It's called staying in pocket. It's the language they use. You just have to look down when you're walking with your pimp.
Look down, like there's money on the ground.
You can't walk with him. You got to walk behind him.
Oh.
You can't walk with him. You have to walk.
It makes for tough videos.
That's right.
This.
Yeah. You can't walk with him. You don't get that. You don't get that like blessing to walk with him. You have to prove yourself first.
Why are you in love with this guy?
Because
I just think it's from my complex trauma, and most girls that get
it's all from childhood.
It's part of that, and a lot of the women that get
childhood trauma
have this history of sexual abuse.
Yeah.
In their life. It happened to them when they were younger. They've never gotten over it. They've never had their counseling, and now they're looking for someone to rescue them. So they gravitate towards any person that gives them any attention, and they hook them line and sinker like that. And they tell them, yo, I'm gonna take care of you. I'm gonna buy you nice things.
They know
I'm not
exactly
gonna let anyone
what to
hurt
say,
you. Yeah. And they're good looking. They're giving them gifts. Okay, here's the place.
Good looking. She said they're good looking. She's still like
There is a bathroom down here that I used to hide in. I would hide from security when they were chasing me because I would get kicked out of all the casinos. It was like my place where I could be by myself and I could think straight.
Okay.
So it's kind of like my self-counseling room. And you'll see what I mean. When you see this bathroom, it's so luxurious and it's comforting. And the other thing was, there's mirrors in there and beautiful lights, so you can look at yourself, you can fix your makeup, and you can kind of like have a little meeting with yourself.
I can't go in there with you. Do you want to just go in with the camera?
Yeah. Okay, we're going into my special little place, y'all. Look at this. Beautiful. Okay, first of all, this is the bathroom section. And then this is where we go and we sit and we do our makeup. Look at this. Isn't it nice? And these nice, cute little chairs. Don't worry, I don't got you guys on camera. And I would just sit here and I would check my makeup in the mirror, which I'm gonna do right now, just to make sure I'm not leaking.
What's up?
Yeah, this is the scene right here, baby. And I would sit here in these nice little chairs and I would wait for my phone to ring and my beeper to go off so I could go on calls. Every time I got a call, I would sneak and park over there because I didn't ever think security was following me. I thought I was being slick, but they were watching me on the cameras the whole flipping time. This right here is the most expensive retail space in the world. Guess what?
Really?
My favorite stores are here. The tricks would say to me, where are we going shopping? I'd be like, well, no, we're not going to Jimmy Choo's. We're going to Gianni Versace's because I want to get me some jeans.
So the tricks, you had a fee for the trick.
Yeah.
And then on top of it, you're like, take me shopping?
That was my tip. Okay, so
here's how it breaks
down with the escort service.
Yeah.
You go on a call, and they send you on a call for like $150 to $250, and then you go walk in the room, you get the money, you take the money, you take your clothes off, and then you get dressed right away, because if the guy doesn't have any more money than that, you bolt.
Wait, 150, 250, go in the room, take your clothes off.
Yeah.
5 seconds, back on.
And you make $50, but that $50 goes to the phone girl, the girl that sent you on the call, or the phone guy that sent you on the call. So you make no money off that. So whatever you make above and beyond that, that's yours. And then you.
So your job is to get them to want more.
Of course, and they always do. Because once you take your clothes off, why wouldn't you want more? Especially if your body's cute and you're pretty.
How much?
Oh my gosh, it depends. If the guy has crocodile shoes on, if he has a Rolex presidential watch,
He got
I'm gonna tell him it's $5,000.
For an hour?
Yeah. Or if he doesn't have that, I'll say, well, it starts at 1,000 and goes up from there.
How much does your pimp get out of that 5,000?
All of it.
All of it?
100%.
So then your pimp pays you every month, every week, every day?
I broke myself every single night that I got home. I would have 10 traps, we call them 10 drops. 10 drops to 15.
10 drops?
Yeah, drops.
What do you mean?
So those are drops to the agency fee. So we're talking about like between $1,500 and $3,000 or to $5,000 in drop money, not the tips. The tip money was above and beyond that. So the pimp would get the tip money. That's what he would get, my tip money. You're with a trafficker pimp. They get 100% of money. That's the deal between you two.
That's the deal.
So how does he know? How does he know though if the guy tipped or not? You could
He doesn't.
conceal
He has to
it.
trust you. And trust me, I used to hide money everywhere in the house. That's how I escaped.
You live with your pimp.
And I would cut pieces of the carpet out, and I would stick. He doesn't even know this. So if he watches us, he's gonna laugh.
That's
I would
crazy, bro.
cut.
He's gonna
pieces-
laugh.
Yeah.
You
I would-
still talk with him?
No, but I know he's probably gonna watch this video. I would cut pieces of the carpet. I would put it inside the statue. I would hide it near the chandeliers. Like I did scandal. I'd put it in my car. I'd cut pieces of my car and slide the money in there. And I had a stash, so if I needed to leave him, I could run. Like I would stash like 10,000, 5,000, 15,000, whatever it was. And we call them racks back
Starfield's
then.
coming out in
So
September.
$5,000. Your pimp takes all of it, but how does the money break down? You said you have to pay off the bartender, maybe. You have to pay off
So I
Starfield.
worked for the
Sorry,
bartenders, and I worked for mostly bartenders and valet drivers.
Okay.
So I had, and then also concierge from certain hotels. I would split the fee in half with them. That was our deal. So if I got a call from a nice hotel, like a 4 or 5 star hotel, I would split the fee. So if they quoted someone 10,000, I would get 5 and they would get 5. And I would get to keep the 5, but then that went to my pimp. That went to my traffic.
How much would your pimp pay you?
Nothing. What
He
are
would
you
give me
talking about?
$5 or $10
So why you
to
do
go buy condoms.
You're only doing this at this point out of fear?
I'm doing it out of fear, but love. Because I have a trauma bond with him.
Love the
and I'm in
game,
love with
too.
him, and I want to make him happy.
How normal is this?
It's very normal in the pimp world. Very normal.
Codependency.
Why not just go on your own?
At
It's
its
less safe?
finest.
I did do that. It's called renegading.
Renegade hoe, huh?
You feel lonely, and I tried it for many years, off and on. But you're always looking around your shoulder like he's gonna find you and kidnap you and hit you and pistol whip you, and that's what they do. They don't allow girls to be renegading by themselves. Okay, now it's starting to rain, y'all. So you are brainwashed into believing this person loves me, this person cares about me, this person has my best interests at heart, this person's building a future for me, this person's stashing money for me, this person's building a business for me. This is all about the family and the love. And all
That's
about
not
our
happening?
future. Buying houses, buying jewelry stores, buying real estate, buying cars, looking good, having racks and stacks, and having diamonds on our fingers, and Rolex watches with diamonds, and bling here, bling there. That's what it was. There was so much money in Vegas in the late 80s and the early 90s. You could swim in the money. The economy was doing good, and we were just banking left and right. And I never thought that it would ever go dry. I never thought that I could not make money. Like I thought, even if I get old, I'm just gonna get a bunch of plastic surgery, I'm gonna pull my face back, and I'm gonna look cute, my body's gonna always look sexy, and I'm gonna do this for the rest of my life. That's what I was thinking. It's crazy,
But
right?
the job itself, wasn't it terrible? Like how do you mentally do it?
You have to totally shut down. Hold on, I'm gonna get this real quick.
Yeah, get our phone call.
But we
Hold
get
on.
asked that question. Hookers for Jesus, can I help you?
Hookers for Jesus.
the name
That's
of the
what
group,
it
right?
is.
Hookers for Jesus. But she's
yeah.
changing it. She's changing it.
She is.
Okay.
It's so it's gonna be. It is Pink Chair,
Pink chair.
and then Hookers for Jesus is still gonna be there. It's gonna be like our outreach, and we have Destiny House and Dream House. Yeah.
So everything she's saying, you agree with? Same experiences?
So she pimping organizations now instead of hoeing. I could dig it.
For you? Or?
I'm laughing in the background because I thought the same thing getting older. I'm like, what am I gonna do?
Okay,
Get
hold on a
plastic
second.
Surgery.
Hold on, what's your name? Okay, I have this on mute, she can't hear me. A girl's just calling, I'm gonna say a fake name.
Yep.
Alice is calling,
I
she's
do
asking
remember
for help.
seeing
She wants
this
to apply
lady
for a
now
Destiny House
on
program.
TV.
Her pimp's getting violent and she wants to get away from him. And she's scared.
You're the hotline for this. Basically.
Sometimes we are, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so do you have a pen? Are you ready? I could hear the
Live
baby.
on the
I can hear
spot.
the baby in the background. But she said that she has to leave her situation, and she said she's safe for the next
got a
couple
baby?
days, but it's getting scary, she said.
So this woman that called you, you know her? You've talked to her before?
Never. First time.
You're like,
Okay,
hell
so what does
nah.
she want from you?
She wants to see if she can get help from us, resources, and possible housing. She sounded about like 17. She sounded young.
You
really
said there was
young.
a kid in the background.
I could hear a baby in the background, yes.
So do you see a lot of that?
Yeah, it's very common for the traffickers to get their women pregnant. because it traps them into the relationship longer, and they can keep the girl from leaving. Because the average life of a working girl that's with a pimp, okay, the average time that they stay, if they're a good pimp, and they, you know, and I don't want to quote any pimps, but you're supposed to pimp so good that she leaves you. She never gets fired. You pimp so good, she leaves you.
What? Wait, you pimp so good so she stays with you for life, I would think.
Yes, but you pimp so good, she leaves you. That means you're a hard pimp, and you worked her to the bone, and now she's too tired, she can't work anymore.
Exactly.
That's what that philosophy means.
How many years does that relationship typically last?
5 to 7.
If the girl is
in love with her trafficker and is totally bought in to the relationship of the stable of sharing him with a bunch of women, and then building that dream together, because they're all building the dream together. It's an entrepreneurship. They're making a dream come true for each other. Even though when she leaves, she knows when she walks out that door, she gets nada, nothing.
So every trick that takes place, every John that is out there hiring a prostitute service, or I'm sorry, not prostitute, what am I supposed to say?
Well, most of them are victims of trafficking.
Okay, every victim of trafficking, known as prostitute also, every one of those services is basically indirectly funding this pimp's lifestyle.
Yes, absolutely. I think if they knew, I don't think men are inherently,
nothing would change.
like no one's inherently evil, right? We're not like waking up going, ha ha ha, I'm gonna be $1 million, you know. I don't think these men that are purchasing women really understand the ramifications of pornography and sex for sale and what happens behind the scenes. Sure, they've seen the movies about the 70s pimping and the big hats and the guys walking with the cane.
The big hats.
But do they know the reality of when that girl goes home, is she gonna get beat down for not meeting her quota?
Nobody cares.
There's quotas we have to make. If you don't make your quota every night, you can't come home.
What's a quota usually?
It just depends. Every
Probably
pimp's
like
different.
$1,000 a night.
Like for me personally, my personal quota was a bad night was like a couple $1,000s, right?
Yeah.
Not including the agency fee. So let me just say a bad night's about $5,000 to $7,000. A good night is about $10,000 to $15,000 to $20,000. Now, one time at this really nice casino that's behind us right here, I met this guy that was a collector of Salvador Dalis. And he was calling girl after girl after girl after girl. And this guy was handing out 10 grand for an hour. So I got him to spend multiple hours with me the entire night. I made a grip off that guy. I send a bunch of my friends to him. I'm like, hey, this guy has a lot of money. He was coked out of his mind. Do you know I was sober doing this work the first 9 years? Completely sober. I barely drank. I really didn't smoke any weed. I wasn't really a weed person. I was against pills and against weed, blow. And the first time I ever did blow was April 17th, 1997. I felt empowered. So for me to stay in the industry, I needed a drug, because at that point in my life, I was broken up with 2 of my traffickers. My whole life was like shattered at this point. I didn't have anything to show for what I used to do. And so doing cocaine was my answer. Like, let me just do a little bump and I'll make a bunch of money and I'll just keep all this money for myself and finally stack my money. But it didn't work out like that because the drugs took over my life. And I ended up like working only a couple times a week, and then I would get high the rest of the week. And did not love me. I never got what I'm gonna cry right now.
Oh, here we go.
It's all right.
I never loved the real person that I was inside. I just wanted to be loved by them. I just wanted them to see me for who I really was. I didn't want them to think of me as a call girl. I wanted to be Annie. I didn't want to be Fallon anymore. That was my working name, Fallon York. I wanted for them to love me as a real human being.
Yeah.
100% my soul. And I couldn't get that. And so I was devastated, and that's why I started doing cocaine.
Did you ever meet a worker that had a great upbringing and good, cohesive family, and they seemed happy at home? And
no.
You never saw that?
No. I'm trying to think. I even had friends that were wealthy. They grew up with wealthy parents, but they were working. I don't understand that. And they had really no good relationship with their parents. Like their parents ignored them. They sent them off to college. They effed off the college money. They ended up not going. Their parents tried to control them with the money, and they didn't want that. So they broke away from the inheritances, and they started hoeing. That's what they call it, hoeing up.
She started hoeing up.
Even though they were with the trafficker, they were free because they could at least get to choose their own path in life.
Right.
With the rich parents, sometimes they control their kids. So it's kind of like they're exploiting their own children, you know?
Right,
in a way.
right,
Oh, you have
right.
to take this for a career. Oh, you have to pick this college. Oh, you have to go to this school. You have to marry that person. That you have to marry up in our family. Our family's multimillionaire. You got to find someone a little richer. It's the same thing as pimping. I mean, come on, think about it. Like, come on.
Interesting.
And so how do you break away from that? Like, what's the better choice? Someone that lets you do what you want? You know, you get to go out and have sex with a bunch of different people and make a bunch of money?
Does anyone want that, though?
And that's what I was saying the other day, Peter.
Feminism.
Nobody wants to really do this.
Nah,
Here's the
get out of
thing.
here. Stop it.
The women
That's
that
cap.
do this, and the young men, because there's male escorts too, and there's trans, of course.
Ew.
The people that do this, we are the best actors and actresses I've ever seen in my life. Fake orgasm, fake smile, fake personality, charismatic demeanor, you know, fun-loving personality, like, come on, let's party, let's have fun, come on, let's make your trip the best trip you've ever had in your life. And 24/7, you don't take off that mask. The only time you take it off is when you go home and you fall asleep at night. It's the only time you become the real. And then after a while, that real person that you used to be fades away.
Oh, shit.
And you literally become the persona that you created, which is Fallon.
Yeah.
Annie disappeared.
Bruce
The last
Wayne.
time I heard someone say my name, because everyone knew me by Fallon, it was my parents. And I wasn't allowed to really see my parents. I wasn't allowed to go back home in Minnesota. I barely got to go. When I did, I was always spending time with my trafficker.
Okay, I was out at the Alien Cat House in Nye County a couple weeks ago, doing a video of what's outside of Vegas. I came up to this house, cat house. I didn't think they'd let me in or let me film. They did. I talked to a worker there. She honestly
Said she loves it?
seemed like she enjoyed it. Like the person in charge of the
She
cat
sounded
house
like she enjoyed it
didn't
too.
seem nearly as happy.
Yeah, because they were afraid she was going to slip and say the wrong thing.
No, but they wanted her to speak.
Yeah, because she's going to advertise their services.
Yeah, but
it's legal.
I looked at her in the eyes. She didn't. I think she said she's providing a service. There's a lot of loneliness and unhappiness in society.
Right.
And she can help people, and she feels a purpose in that.
Yeah.
Then she goes
It's true.
home
I
to the
felt the
Bay
same
Area.
way
She
for a
goes
while.
to the Bay Area. It's like 1 month on, 1 month off or
Yep,
something.
that's what they do. You cannot leave.
They go home, and she's in other hobbies and stuff. But she didn't seem upset about it.
Yeah, well, you
Just
know.
great acting, or do you think some women actually?
I really think it could be. And I haven't met this person, so I
Yeah.
don't know. But if I met her and talked to her and just said, hey, what's really going on with you? Like, what, you got some folks at home? Folks means in the game, it means your family, your pimp family.
Okay.
So
That's funny.
she might have folks at home that she's paying, and they're making her work there. Or it legitly could be she's working on her own and she's just trying to make money for college. I wanted to go to college, but I never got to go. Into music and stuff, and it's funny because I'm married to a musician now.
Why don't you just waitress tables?
I used to, actually. I'm
Yeah,
really
but
good at it.
you can make enough money, do that, go to
Hell
community
nah.
college.
Crazy, bro.
I'm being all practical here. I'm
That's
being all
not enough
logical
money.
here.
That's
Okay.
not enough money.
Okay.
And that's a lot
Exactly.
of work. I mean, you hustle, bus. Like, come on. I worked at a Japanese restaurant called
So, like,
Ichiban's
yeah,
in
come on.
Minnesota, and I worked at a place called DeLuno's Pizza. I loved it, don't get me wrong, but it's before I knew about the game. When I got turned out to the game, Peter, I'm telling you, once I knew that I could sell my body and make money, I couldn't take that. It's like I married the game. I married it. I took
Golden
the ring.
handcuffs.
And I literally was like, I'm not taking this off. Because now I know that I don't want to say weird things. I don't want
pussy.
to say a swear word.
Okay.
So you might have to block this out.
Sure.
Yes, power.
Yeah.
I was done.
You would never do it again, right? Or
No.
recommend anyone get into it?
I don't recommend it. It's too
Yeah.
crazy of a
Thank you,
lifestyle. I almost
Jackie.
got killed. In fact, there's a hotel across the street right there. Yeah.
Okay.
There was a person that opened the door, and he was in a suite. And I said, "Can I see your ID, sir?" Because I felt something weird about it. It was something really off. And he was like, "Yeah." He goes back to the back, comes back, and he pulls out a .357 Magnum, and he goes, "This is my ID." And I just was like, "Okay." And so I walked into the room. He had a gun held to me, snub nose. I don't know if you've ever seen a snub nose gun, but he had it pointed in my stomach, and then he put it to the side of me, made me take my clothes off. He raped me, and wow, that was. I thought I was gonna die that night.
I think when people hear the word trafficker, they're thinking of a very cold relationship, as in you have
Nope.
the overlord boss,
Nope.
and then the product.
Only when it's enforced. Nope. So this is what's funny. You're gonna laugh when I say this. So
Okay.
first of all, pimp is power in manipulating people.
Wow.
Basically, that's what a pimp is. Power in manipulating people. If you don't do what the trafficker, AKA pimp, says, not only will you be threatened with getting beat, right? Or someone you love getting beat, someone you love getting murdered, you get threatened with, you ain't getting no, the D, you ain't getting no D.
Haven't
She's
you had
funny
enough to
as
eat
hell,
out with your
bro.
work?
Well, okay, so that's totally separate because when you're at work, you shut off. You are in actress mode. So
Okay,
you don't
okay.
feel
It doesn't
anything.
even it doesn't even
no,
count.
it does. You don't feel it. You don't have orgasms. You just are a robot. You go through the motions and you do what you're supposed to do.
Right.
But then when you come home, you're supposed to be hugged, kissed, loved, massaged. Oh, baby, did you have a good night? You got us some money, baby? Like, yeah, daddy, I got us some money, baby. And then you hug them and kiss them, and then you have sex. That's the normal pimp-ho relationship. But it doesn't always work like that, because if you're not in the pimp's good graces, you're not in the trafficker's good graces, you'll be thrown into a room, or he'll go to another house that he has another girl staying at and go spend the night or spend the week with her because it's her turn. And now you have to sit home at your house all by yourself, waiting for him, calling him on his cell phone. Are you coming home yet, daddy? Are you coming home
Be
yet,
funny.
baby? I was the bottom girl. You know what a bottom girl is? Let me show you
No.
what that is. So
So
a bottom
bottom bitch,
girl
she
is the
trying
main
not to
girl in
cuss,
the
though.
stable, the family of traffickers. She's the one that watches over the other girls. She's the one that checks them. She's the one that makes sure that they're staying on their game, getting the money, that they're not cheating on him or the family, so to speak.
How big do the families get?
It just depends. Like, it could be anywhere from 3 people, 2 people, to 5 to 10 to 15 to 20.
Okay.
If it grows bigger, they call it,
Iceberg Slim.
you know, they
Stable.
get it's called a trophy. It's, the Pimp of the Year award. I know that sounds insane, but that's what they do. They give out these awards for Pimp of the Year.
Pimp of
gives
the
them?
Year awards. She don't want to say.
It's a certain culture that does the subculture. A lot of people want to give the pimps, the traffickers, a terrible name and put them away for 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 years. They're pedophiles, they're predators. Hey, we can definitely state facts when we see it happen, but in all reality, there is no services for traffickers. There is no services for the pimps. There is no way to rehabilitate them. No one's feeding that need or filling that need. And it's sad to me because these pimps have a lot of them have horrendous backgrounds.
Right.
Both of my traffickers, my pimps.
Don't nobody care
had
about the men, though. They
horrible
don't got
childhoods.
empathy
Horrible.
for the
So
men.
you have empathy for these guys.
I absolutely do. And I know that there's an entrepreneur in them because they're hustling. That's what we call it in the game.
Yeah.
They're hustling, they're trying to make it. And there is a niche for that. There is a need for someone to come up along beside them, help them get out of the game, help them have the money, whatever it is, to pay
She trying to
restitution
start
to
a
the girls that are hurt.
rehabilitation
But
center
then whatever else is
pimps.
left in them as far as entrepreneurship,
Yeah.
teach them a new trade. Teach them to teach other pimps how to get out the game.
How many pimps do you think are operating in Las Vegas?
Oh, in Las Vegas, thousands.
Thousands.
Thousands, yeah.
How many
Yep.
prostitutes?
Oh my gosh. Let's rephrase it. How
shit.
many victims of trafficking and possible prostitutes? I would say on any given weekend between 10 and 30,000. Yeah. A lot of them come in just for the weekend to work and then they fly out. But I lived here, so.
And they're staying in these hotels?
Yeah, some of them are.
Weekend warrior.
Sometimes they'll stay at like an Airbnb, which is way more safer, so, they don't get discovered by the Vice.
Vice.
Yeah,
What's
Vice is undercover prostitution, undercover trafficking. Yeah, so they're planted in the casinos. They have regular street clothes on. They get called when there's girls at the casino with their pimps.
Okay.
And so what ends up happening is that girls get kicked out of the casino, which I used to get kicked out all the time, and then they spot the pimp and they get him on record to put his face on camera to make sure that if they see him again,
Or like
they can watch
trespassing.
out to see if there's any girls that he has coming into the casino making money. But they don't really stop it. It kind of is something that is hard to manage because there's too many
Ameliorate.
people coming and going in these casinos. things are changing. We are looking better in Vegas.
It's more of a family place now.
Yeah, it's
right.
But it's
I see
still,
more kids.
We still have an underground world here. I don't think it's ever going to go away.
Yeah.
There's always going to be people selling sex. There's always going to be underground drugs. There's always going to be that subculture of Las Vegas, which is the gangster.
Yeah.
And that's the allure of Las Vegas. It's the lights, it's the money, it's the fantasy, it's everything. Because when you come here, and I'm not gonna lie, you come to the Strip at night and those lights are turned on,
It's different.
there's something beautiful about it.
That shit hit different.
I don't know about you guys, but I want to see what's in those buildings. Like, I'm like, that looks so beautiful.
Yeah.
I love lights and colors, but to me it says money, power, entrepreneurship. I think that we have such a potential here in this city to make our city better, because we're ground zero for trafficking. Did you know that? Per capita, we're ground zero for trafficking.
What got both of you out of this?
It's called tipping points. Huh. I got rescued out with my trick the first time, and then you.
Rescued out with my trick. On that note, give me a second. I'll take a break. That shit's funny though. Rescued out with by my trick.
As you wish, Mother. Good. You're ready for lesson 1. Blood is the key.
What did you see this time? I don't need sparing. Tell me.
Weymouth plans to teach your mother a ritual. One that needs blood. Your mother seemed receptive.
We have to reach them.
Okay, let's see what she's talking about now.
I'll tell you more about that later, but I don't want to die.
What is she
So
talking
we're gonna
about?
go to
She
the
don't want to
house.
die.
Yeah, we're
Which
gonna go to.
you went through, right? That was part of your process of getting out of this?
That's my process of healing and just
Okay.
finding my value and worth. Yeah.
Yeah. Talking about it and doing this work can actually help us heal, because now we're focusing on fixing and helping and contributing and loving and guiding someone out of the lifestyle, which is a total reward. It makes you feel good inside because you know that you're possibly saving someone's life. Not every person that gets out of this wants to do this work because it's really difficult, because it triggers us. It's called vicarious trauma,
But
and it's real.
You're not getting triggered today, are you?
No.
A little bit.
You cried a little bit?
I did, because I remember chasing the feeling of home.
She was definitely triggered.
I just wanted to feel like I was safe and that someone loved me and that someone cared for me. That's what I was chasing the entire time I was being trafficked, and even in the lifestyle itself. Because I thought if I had money and if I had stability, that people would love me and I would find my family finally, but that never happened. And that's what you're constantly chasing. You're constantly chasing this golden carrot. I'll finally attain this if I do this,
Carrot
and then
or
if
the
I do
stick.
this, and then if I do this, and maybe if I do this, and maybe if I meet this person, you're gonna finally attain the ultimate, like nirvana, but you don't. Because that doesn't exist in this lifestyle. And so the spirituality piece was missing from my life. I didn't at the time believe in God. I was mad at God. I was like, f
Right.
God. He took my sister, he took my grandma. I'm mad at him right now. And he can kick rocks as far as I'm concerned.
How many years have you been doing it?
Next year will be 20 years. Las Vegas Strip has changed so much.
Definitely.
When I look at it now, it's like a different friend. Now I look at it as a place of happiness.
Las Vegas, man. I was out there yesterday, shit.
There's nowhere I can film in here.
Yeah, the only thing you can't really film is like the exit at premises.
Okay.
Facing the street. Don't film that because it's identifiable. This is all guarded. No one can see this from the street, so it's safe.
Yeah. Wow, very peaceful out here.
You'll see like security cameras. They're casino grade. They can zoom and they can hear conversations. Also,
funny.
security
She got
is
security.
You have physical security around here.
So if any intruder comes on our property, they'll probably get shot. So don't come over
But
here.
nobody knows where this is.
No.
It's Vegas.
Someone donated this to us, yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I was curious. How do you get your funding?
Donors. We are phasing out of governmental grants. I turned 3 down this year so far.
Why?
Because I want to get private donors instead. Because they don't give us the freedom to do what we really want to do.
Okay, so with the government grant, strings attached? type
So
stuff?
many
Yeah.
strings and
Okay.
so much paperwork. It's like you pay more to report the grant than anything else. With the government grants, and there's nothing wrong with that because we have a stellar record. We get all of our books audited every year. Costs a lot of money, but our books are stellar. Every single cent that's spent on Destiny House, Dream House, which is a property that's beyond this one, it's another location, is accounted for. So whoever donates to us can rest assured it's going to direct services.
How many ladies here?
We can hold ladies here.
Yeah.
So there's 13 beds here.
How many right now?
Well, I can't say that right now.
Okay.
That's private.
Okay.
This is our offices right here. This is also another house.
This is great. You got a swimming pool back here?
Yeah, with a waterfall.
Yeah,
I love
with
that
the
Flip's done
waterfall.
that myself. We have our own well.
So walk me through this. You go to the strip or somebody calls like they did when we were filming. You vet them or whatever.
Yeah.
Then you can bring them in here?
Yes, and our turnaround time is between 2 and 3 days.
Oh.
So it's not emergency housing, but it used to be about 2 weeks. But if we can get one medical record on a person, we're fine. Like we need to make sure that the mental health that they are requiring, if they need a doctor or nurse 24/7, we can't take them.
Okay.
Because we would rather put them in a facility to stabilize their trauma. But some girls have that type of trauma where they're totally wigged out and they can't even think straight. Like think about a homeless person talking to themselves pushing a cart. That kind of trauma.
Damn.
And sometimes
So when
that happens.
when they get here, they're fed.
Yes.
They get therapy.
Clothed.
How long is the program?
This one can be 1 to 2 years. And then our dream house is 1 to 2 years. So if you do the full continuum of our program, it's 4 years.
4 years.
But if you do the short track, it's between 1.5 years to 2 years.
Can we talk to them?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, well, let's walk in here. Well, hello. Hey, Sheila.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, Scott. Sheila.
Hi, sir.
Nice to meet you.
Scott is our developmental director. We hired him so we can get some new donors. So we can get away from our government grants. He's working on new software and he worked for a large organization in another country for about 13 years. So he has a lot of experience and we're hopeful that we're going to be able to, raise enough funds to stay open, obviously, and expand and create more locations.
That's the goal.
Yeah, because this model is very duplicate. I can't say it right. Franchisable,
Right.
better word.
So you want to do this outside of Las Vegas, different areas?
Yes, and then Sheila, she's our outreach coordinator, volunteer coordinator. You come with me into the jails.
Yes, and we go out on the strip. We speak to the ladies for arrest night.
Yeah, the vice officers, they try to arrest.
Then they bring them to us. They think they're being arrested, but they bring them to us.
Great. Wow, this is really well organized. I
Yeah.
didn't expect this, to be
Now,
honest.
and then here's Miss Allie. What do you do,
Hello, Miss
Allie?
Allie.
I'm a housing resource advocate. So they've completed your program here and then have gone on to transitional living and they stay there for about a year.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's 1 to 2 years here and then
1 to 2
transitional living
years, yep.
afterwards.
Into Dream House, and then the third step, she's the third step, so long-term permanent housing.
What line of work do they typically get into, or it just depends?
Oh yeah, they could pick anything they want, so they have about 500 choices. We do partnerships with the grants, that give grants for schooling, for college, and for scholarships for any type of job that they want. So they could be anywhere from an esthetician to a chef, or if they want to be a hotel concierge, if they want to get into marketing, if they want to become a judge one day, if they want to become a lawyer, if they want to become a police officer. We want to encourage them to do whatever they feel called to do. Not necessarily this work. Some ladies, though, want to do this work. It's not a large percentage, but there is like a 10%.
They want to work in the organization?
Yes, they want to work here.
So they want to get what you've gotten.
Yeah.
That feeling of fulfillment.
They want to give back.
Yeah.
So it's a special piece that we like to offer if we can. There's like a new thing happening now where we're seeing more survivors kind of like step up, and you already know as well as I do, a lot of people don't want to get on camera. They're afraid to tell their story because this is real. The traffickers, it's a mafia. It's like a gang. It's like this undercover subculture that wants to threaten them to make them stay in that subservient position where they never tell their story. They never share what's happened to them. And they hold their trauma deep inside, and they never get the true healing that they need. This is Ashley's office.
I didn't know Ashley worked for you.
Oh my gosh, you didn't?
No, nobody told me that.
Ashley, he didn't know, we didn't tell him? Did we forget to tell you?
It's all right.
He's like, it's all right.
We were in the story in the moment.
Nice to meet you.
Peter.
Happy to have you here.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Hi, Peter. Amy.
Amy, nice to meet you. What are your positions here?
I'm Cricket. I'm the head of operations.
Oh, okay, great.
I'm the director of the transitional house, drain house.
The ladies she takes care of, they're not here today. They were afraid to come on camera.
Okay.
It's okay.
Understandable,
And several of them have some court cases going on, and they're.
So what drew you to this work?
So I wasn't drawn to the work in particular. I felt that I was called to it. So I was a little resistant even at first.
You felt you were called to it. What do you mean by that?
I don't know, are you guys faith-based?
No, I'm not, but I get into different religious groups.
Okay, cool. So I'm a Christian,
Okay.
follower of Jesus Christ, and the Holy Spirit impressed upon me some directions to take, and as I followed them through, it was leading me here. And my initial response to that was like, no, I don't know anything about trafficking. I don't want to be a part of that world. I want to know about that world. You know.
Interesting. So you just like naturally was guided into this. How long have you been here?
5 years.
What trends, macro ones, have you seen in the last 5 years? Is there a big takeaway? I'm sure there's so much to unpack out of that, but
so much has moved online. So much has moved digital.
Okay.
Online.
And grooming has moved so much online and really expanded. What used to be on the dark web is moving right into your Instagram and these other areas where it's just, you know,
Instagram crazy nowadays.
These spaces where they're everything in their lives is happening right now.
These are little goodie bags we give the girls.
you got such a cool team.
Yeah, they're, you know, and it's only half of our team, so the rest are not here.
How many are working here?
23.
Wow.
Yeah, 22.
Between the two houses?
Yeah.
And here's your book.
Oh yeah, my book, the English version. I have it in Spanish too. The story
Amazon.
of what happened. Yeah, it's on Amazon, but we're gonna have it on our website. So if you guys want an autographed copy and a little note written from me, go to our website.
Oh, wow.
pinkchair.org. These are gifts that people have given me over the years, and I just kept them. And one of the girls that died made this for me because she knows I love color. This is a very special gift. They were painting rocks in our art room next door.
She went through your program and died?
Yeah. She got murdered by her trafficker.
After the program?
Twice. She went to our program twice.
What
this
the
is before
fuck?
we had Dreamhouse. That's why we created Dreamhouse, because she had nowhere to. She got into her own apartment. We got her own, helped her get her own apartment and car. But every time she got into her own place, she would go back and connect with the old people that she knew, and she would go back into the lifestyle. Now, it doesn't happen with every client that we work with, but because the trauma bonds are so strong with the traffickers, it's like they're parting from their father or their brother or their the love of their life, and they cannot let go.
So what would a young woman who has a terrible upbringing, who's gonna get that trauma bond with a pimp and be hooked in, what's an alternative? What can she do? Because something's gonna need to fill that void.
Yeah.
That's a real negative fill, obviously.
Okay, exactly. So before that happens, obviously we need to have programs for education on trafficking, but also we need to have programs that help them deal with their trauma. So their first, I call it the first stage of their trauma, which is usually child abuse or sexual abuse. If that never gets dealt with, they definitely are going to be way more susceptible to trafficking. It's a way easier to traffic someone that's been broken, their personality's been attacked, and their physical being's been attacked sexually and physically and mentally, where they don't know their own agency, which means they don't have control of their own body and they don't feel like they're their own person. So
they really don't feel like they're their own person.
No, and they have codependency issues, so they end up hooking up with people that pretend that they love them or believe in them, and then these people traffic them, whether it's labor or sex.
You need to get at these women very young.
Yes.
At these girls at a young age, with all the therapy, with the social support network.
Yeah, we have to give them a family back that they know.
Damn! There we go, I ain't dead.
Yeah. Do you remember?
Did you tell him why? You can't show your face.
Well, if he got all them followers.
Yeah,
you know
we'll blur your face.
Well, no,
100%.
your trafficker, if he sees this, what will happen?
He might chase me down, hunt me down.
Because he did it before, didn't he?
Yeah, and drug me all the way back.
Is he part of that subculture from the 80s and 90s, the pimp hoe culture?
Oh, no. He wasn't that tough.
So he's a Romeo pimp.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Romeo pimp is nice boyfriend guy. You think everything's good.
Yeah.
And then the switch flips one day?
Yeah. Yep. We was going together in 2015.
Okay.
In 2016, when I moved into his house, I was turned out. And then I got out in 2022.
Tell Peter what that means, turned out. He doesn't know.
Oh, that means put you on the corners and hoe and prostitute. Actually, most of the stuff we was doing inside our house.
You were in love with him?
Yes. And I thought he loved me, but he didn't, you know. The drugs played a part in it, and I had to perform for his drugs, my drugs, and, you know, money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And for 8 years?
Yes.
Do you have kids?
Yes, I have grown children. They're
Grown, so they weren't around?
No, I hid it for a long time.
They know now?
Yes, I told her, my daughter, when I left home. So she's writing me letters and she's happy I'm safe and wow. Because I didn't want to see my family around him. I didn't want him around my family. I mean, because he's just a horrible person. Sometimes it's hard to walk away, just walk away. If you had somebody like mine, they'll see you dead before they let you go. So you have to reach out to somebody, especially somebody that understands what's going on, because some people don't get this at all. They think it's just what we do, what we like to do, you know. But when you've been forced to do it, it's a whole different ballgame. I didn't know about this place. I went to a crisis place because I was contemplating suicide and at rock bottom.
All
a lady that...
Let's skip a little bit. She trauma
It's better to be
on some serious level, fucking, whatever. But yeah, hold on, give me a second.
Around other people that are going through the kind of same thing you are?
This was my bed. I had this whole wall covered in butterflies, pink glitter, Bible verses, all the things. Like, you can even see the paint. It was like a pink wall of,
it was, I remember.
Of healing.
How did Ashley come into this program? How did you get here?
Oh, that's a neat story. I was speaking at an event in California, and there was this cute little lady, and she was just crying, and I was like, what is wrong? And then she said, my daughter is with a trafficker.
I end up here because it was either me dying or me escaping and getting away. I tried to commit suicide, and I actually have scars on my arm. And I have a tattoo that says he's great.
Not hear about that.
God, you gotta make sure you're ready for this. And I was
Nobody
like,
tries.
And you're thinking modeling.
Yes. And he's like, you gotta be a little risque. I'm like, well, I know Victoria's Secret and stuff like that. And he's like, no, you really gotta give it 100. So I flew out to Vegas either at end of June of 2012 or beginning of July, and never came back. So he put me in a really nice hotel, kind of like Pretty Woman. At this time, I had no idea what was ahead of me. And, you know, he was getting things situated. We're gonna have like a business together and all this money and whatnot. And ended up working in a strip club. He told me that a lot of his girls make money on the side doing that. I'm thinking, well, if you do modeling, why do you need that money?
Right.
And he was just like, yeah, you know, just something for you, whatever. And I believed it. I don't know why. I couldn't tell you why, but I really believe in the beginning, complex trauma and the manipulating and all that started, the brainwashing. So I started dancing.
Get the frick out of here.
Most of the time dancing, I forgot to take my top off. I was just like in a nightclub type deal. And then he introduced me to prostitution
trying to act
and
like
trafficking.
she didn't choose to do it.
So one of my clients in the strip club, thank you, Annie. One of my clients in the strip club had asked me, can I see you outside? And I was like, no, I'm working. I don't work outside. So I talked to my dude at the time, ex-trafficker, and he's like, give me the phone. And he's texting the guy, the buyer, hey, you know, so I charge this much. And the guy think it's me. And then I did my first out call, and the bottom girl at the time took me to there. And at this point, I didn't do anything sexual at that time. It was just dancing. I know taking off your top and all that, maybe a little bit can be. So I walked in there and it was $600. It was right in the beginning, like, of me really learning how to make money and stuff. And the instant I walked in there and it happened, my soul left. I can't even explain it to you. I can't. There's no words. And then I had to give the money to the bottom girl at the time, and she gave it to him. But these were my pictures. Oops. So this was modeling before. This is just one of many. I did a lot of runways and, you know, like for websites for their clothing. So I'd be the model that you pick out the outfit that you like. This was when I was trafficked. So he made me get implants, breast implants. He made me dye my hair.
He didn't make you do that. You wanted to get him. Stop playing.
I can tell there's no life in my eyes. This is probably like edited. These aren't.
You look gorgeous.
But you could see there's like no white in my eyes. And I'm not even talking about reflection.
Right.
Like literally. And I was probably really messed up in these pictures, but that was my life. That I was a functioning whatever, you know. I left the game, the life, or a way of thank you, from my trafficker October 19th of 2018. And I got on a mega bus from here to California. And I was going back home. But I wasn't going to my parents' house because even though throughout the years I was trafficked from 2012 to 2018, they would always try to help me. I mean, they got like investigators, FBI, all this stuff. And anytime they got arrested, they would show up in court, all the things. And I feel so bad because one time I was in a different state and my family, my bond was paid. And I thought, you know, my PIN did it. My family paid it $2,000 to get me out. And I literally walked through, get my stuff, my belongings. I was in there probably like a day or two. And
that's what made her change her mind?
So you get out and then there's like a door to like the street or whatever. My mom's there and she's waited the whole time just to hug me. And I looked at her, I said, I gotta go. And I just had an attitude like, and she's like, Ashley, we just paid all this money. I flew out from here to save you. I said, you can't save me. What are you saving from? And she's like, well, I'm gonna kill myself. Like, I can't do this. I can't lose my daughter. And I saw her crying and she just sat on a bench and I don't know what happened. Like, I don't know what the jail did, how she got home. But another girl got out the same time as me and her dude picked her up. I don't know who he was, but they had a baby in the back seat full of beer cans and whatnot. And I said, I'll give you $100 if you take me back to my hotel. And she did drugs in the car while he was driving. And poor baby, I was just like kicking cans just to get in. And I got back and I got straight to work. I had no feelings at that time for my mom, for anyone, myself. And so that day when I got on the mega bus, there's a guy, his name was Christian, and I'll never forget, driving on the freeway back to California, I looked at the strip and I cried. I cried for the guy that I was with all those years because it's what I knew. It's what I survived. It's what I did. You know, I left everything. I left my family. I left God. I left my 20s. I left going to school, getting a job, learning all that. Like, I didn't learn how to get registration on your car. I didn't learn how to adult. While people were doing that, I was being trafficked and I didn't know. And all I could think about was like, you know, all I want to be is Christian. Because his name was Christian, the guy. And I felt so bad for him because I was crying the whole time. I was like, I'm just going through a 6-year breakup. Little did he know. So if he sees this, and so I didn't want to go to my parents' house because I felt too broken, embarrassed, because I had gained a lot of weight. Surviving whatever, it got really, really bad. So I went to a friend's house and, oh man, they're so nice, but his family just bought a restaurant, and guess what was in the restaurant? A bar. And I could drink for free, unlimited. And I was like, I can't do this. So
she didn't want to get drunk because she was finna start partying again.
And when I walked in the door, my mom picked me up, and when I walked in the door, my brothers were there. So I'm a triplet. I have 2 brothers. My dad was standing there, and he just stared at me, and I said, I look different, huh, Dad? He's like, yeah, I do. And it really bothers me because, you know, you do make money off your looks. That's what it's all about. If you don't have it, someone else will. And prior to being trafficked, I modeled. So I had a lot of trauma from modeling already that I didn't know. And then going into this made matters way worse. And actually, you know, I'm lucky to be alive today that I don't have STDs, I don't have HIV. I had the opportunity to get my implants out for free. There's an awesome organization called Face Forward. They're in California. They're in Hollywood.
Everybody should go down there.
And they help like domestic violence survivors and all that. The doctors. I had a Beverly Hills doctor do this. I didn't pay for my flight, nothing. I just showed up. And so here I am. And I got here October 30th of 2018. And I'll never forget, they did all like the intake process, and I come in and I sit on it was a different couch at the time, but I sat on this couch in here, and I had a box full of goodies, shampoo, towels, a Peak Bible. I had like Bath and Body Works spray, and I sat there and cried because I had shampoo. At one point, I couldn't even get shampoo at the gas station, like Rain or whatever it's called, like the really, really cheap stuff. And I just cried, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm safe. So they walk me to my room, and I get settled, and I lay in bed, and I'm like, oh, I don't have to like get up and try to make money. I don't have to like somehow check in with the hotel and not get kicked out, or I don't have to do this or that. And then it's, you know, I went from there and I healed, and I went to school to be an EKG monitor tech. And I worked at 2 hospitals. I actually worked at UMC here for a little bit, not too long. And then I had an opportunity to work here. So now I do what they did for me to help others.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Do you get the same feeling Annie does of just like this purpose in what you're doing?
Yeah. You know, it's funny because when I was in Destiny House, I was like, I'm never gonna work for you guys.
I never asked you to.
Not in a bad way. I was just like, no, like I'm gonna go out and have a life. Like telling you, no, I'm gonna get my animal in my little place. And
all right, let's skip this bitch.
They need help. There needs to be in-house programs in the jails for them. This is not an easy thing.
To lighten it up a little, let's go to the strip you were saying and try. What's the terminology when you get ladies off the strip?
We're gonna do Saturday Night Love. That's what it's called.
Saturday Night Love.
Yeah. So we're gonna go find some beautiful
Saturday Night
women
Love
that are working, and we're gonna tell them that they don't have to work anymore. And if they need to get out, here's some resources.
You think we'll be able to find them?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I saw
Every night.
at least 20 when we were out earlier, and a lot of buyers, too.
We don't have gift bags
She's
for those
funny.
guys.
And a lot of buyers.
Maybe one day
too.
we will. It's called handcuffs.
I don't know.
All right.
Turn around, you're under arrest.
These are the outreach packages.
Yeah, so we go all the way or go home. So we make it cute because most of these victims don't have much, and we want to make them feel special. So we make it colorful and glittery and cute.
They're making
They
$1,000
get a
a
pair
night.
of like soft
How they don't have
socks,
much?
you know, jewelry, basic stuff, Bath and Body Works spray, little ones too. And it's important to do little, especially if there are dudes around or a trafficker, because they can't carry a lot of stuff and they don't want to be like, well, I got this from so-and-so, and they could get beat. And then we give them these little
They can go
Bibles.
beat.
And we put this on it, it says, read me. This is the trafficking wheel. So I never knew I was trafficked. I never heard that word. And when I saw this, the only thing on here that I don't relate to is learning English, because I already know English. And the first time that Annie
Right,
shared
of course
this
you
with the Destiny House when I was there as a client, I've never heard of complex trauma. And I was like, oh my gosh. And people really don't realize how this really affects you. Like, I actually take medication, but it helps me. And I'm not saying that.
She's funny.
Friends, feeling like we're free, even though we know we're in bondage with our traffickers, but making money.
Do you miss the money you were making back then?
Yes.
Hell yeah.
So
she
even
missed
though
it.
your pimp was controlling it all, not giving you much.
But there
right?
was this part in my mind that thought, maybe this is mine.
Let's go back.
This stuff.
People just, you know,
Because they want to. Because
crazy,
they want to make.
though. Let's
Because
go
they want to
back
make
to
sure.
this lady,
people
though.
just, you know, leave with money, or well, actually, no one leaves with money, excuse me. Some people might leave in a different way. But when I came to Destiny
Nobody
House,
leave
all
with
I had
money.
was a suitcase full of dirty clothes.
We have outreach bags, right?
Mm-hmm.
Couple in there.
But it doesn't mean we gave bags out to everybody. Sometimes the pimp's right around the corner, and we can't do it.
Yeah.
Because he's watching. They
Yep.
have spotters and handlers. And
They
what
have
I mean by
spotters,
handlers
whatever.
are they're people that spy on the new girl that's working because they want to make sure she's staying in pocket. It's just going to be a lot of like girls walking from casino to casino,
Oh yeah.
which is it's probably a good one we should do. Let's do it. We can go this way. Yeah.
Gosh, I've had so many dates on this walkway.
They're about to go save some prostitutes.
Hey,
Crazy question, slap me if you want. Does any part of the old lifestyle, do you miss any part of it?
if anything,
You're
hanging out with
definitely
my
missing it.
girlfriends, feeling like we're free, even though we know we're in bondage with our traffickers, but making money.
Do you miss the money you were making back then?
Yes.
So even though
course.
your pimp was controlling it all, not giving you much.
But there
right?
was this part in my mind that thought, maybe this is mine. Maybe this is my money.
Romanticizing
You
their
got
past.
all the clothes and all the nice things, right?
Yeah, except for when I left, I didn't get to keep my things. I had to leave him, and he would cut my stuff up. And sometimes several of my friends, their pimps would burn their clothes.
It was kind of like an addiction for me.
Yeah.
Crazy.
The thrill, and you get like stacks of money, and you get to go on these adventures, but then those adventures don't last that long. Then you get raped and all this.
Well, the best thing was when you had a guy, he would fly you out of town where he was at, and if your trafficker or pimp lets you go,
They like to get flowed out.
you felt like you were free just for a little bit. Like you were like, ooh, I don't have to be under his thumb. I can have food, I can hang out, I can drink a little bit, I can go shopping, and he doesn't get to say no. I get to be in the presence of another man that's even possibly good looking too, and that I get to finally do what I want.
Talking about.
Do any of the Johns know that you had pimps over you?
I never told them.
So they just don't even know?
No. You're not supposed to say that. If you
So they
say that,
think
it's a
you're-
total turnoff. If
Right.
they know you're in bondage, they're not going to be attracted to that.
Yeah. So
You know?
they're thinking you're totally on your own.
Yeah, you tell them I'm going to college. They're like, oh, really? Great thing. Okay, yeah. That's really smart. You're a smart girl. Oh, I like you even better now. Okay, watch this. Watch this. I used to be on
Hold on,
those
what you about
cards.
to do?
See, he's trying to get you to call an escort service.
Yep.
Hey,
Can you grab one of those cards? What's this? Joe?
Do you know you're passing that out? Do you know what's on those cards? I used to be on those cards.
No?
These are trafficking victims. Did you know that?
He got a job to do.
I want you to look at that. Just look at it. Can I see one? You see this? This isn't the real girl. This girl has been on these ads for over 20 years, making new pictures. But this is oh my God, $69. $69 to get a girl to your room.
That's a good deal.
Is that a real price?
No,
I've never gone to a room for $69. Like, really, dude?
So it's legal to be out here giving those things away?
Personally, I think they're labor trafficked. Maybe he doesn't have certain documents, or maybe he's struggling, who knows?
Call this number, okay? This is me, that's my story. You got afraid of me.
That shit.
So
I think he thought I was a cop or something, I don't know.
So is it illegal to do that or no?
No, they can do it, but they have to have a light. Oh, here she is right here, look. Hi, ladies.
Hi, ladies.
Do you know, can you speak English?
No.
Espanol only?
No.
Espanol.
Yeah, how much this one? Can I see? 50. 50. Do you know that these girls are being trafficked?
Yeah.
They're being used.
She said, yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
So is that a real price? Like a girl's gonna go to a room for $50?
No, it's a setup. There's no way. And that's that's how people get robbed and things like that.
Be able to
Where
make
do
money?
you guys get this stuff? Like, what do you think this is? What do you think this is?
You want to know what this is?
Yeah, I want to know what that is.
I used to work for these places.
You used to, and do what?
You know what?
And do what? Hookers? They're hookers? Okay.
These ladies have pimps.
They do.
Yeah.
For what I know, when I worked as a phone girl, they were entertainers.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
guess what? You being a phone girl, you got a lot of good tips, right? So I would tip my phone girl $50 to $100 for every call she sent me on.
Yeah.
And then I would get my $500.
It's
okay.
public space.
It's okay.
Public space.
But
I'm just letting you know.
Listen, I don't want to be recorded.
I understand.
I do have the right, right?
Yeah.
Right? I have the right, right?
You
but
don't.
listen,
No, you
don't.
don't. Not in public.
part of being a phone girl.
Don't talk. I have the right to film the street. This is public. This is public.
If this was your daughter, you wouldn't be selling her like that.
Is it your daughter?
You guys, right now, this is all trafficking. This is trafficking, everybody. Trafficking.
Eesh.
I used to be on these cards.
He's a Karen now.
I'm done.
That's how they turn into
No, bad
Karens.
for you. You wait till God sees you at the gates. Let's see what happens.
Everybody got into it.
Jeez.
Sorry, dude.
No, don't be sorry.
But she was about to hit me. I'm not afraid of them people. You know what? Here's the thing. She had the nerve to say she was a phone girl.
She knew what it was.
She was a trafficker, dude. That's why she's so upset with me. She was trafficking women.
So what's her part in all of this?
She's working for the escort service. Okay, right here, Ashley, huh? But they're together, huh?
Oh, yeah.
They're working. They're working.
I look.
See their tattoos?
They always look straight.
They're working that young? They're like 16.
Oh, I gotta
That's
calm
cap.
down. Whew,
Yeah, it's
woosah.
all right.
It's
It's
okay.
all right. It's all right.
I'm sorry. That's what we're dealing with here, Peter. It's pure evil. She denied
evil.
what I told her, and she knows it's the truth. That's the problem with that girl. She used to be a phone girl. It's really sad. A phone girl is someone that takes women
Asian
and
lady
sends
like,
them out on
what?
calls.
She the real
And then
boss.
when the girl comes, the girls come back to her and they give her a big fat tip for sending them out. So they're trafficking the girls too.
Right.
That's right. Just saying.
That
I
Asian
used to
lady
be
know
one of
all
the
about
girls.
it.
Yeah.
Giving the card and
Yeah.
there's phone number and say
Yep.
you can. Wow.
Thank you for listening. What's your name?
Sylvia.
Hi, Sylvia. Nice
Sylvia's.
to meet you.
Bye now.
God bless you, ladies.
Let's skip ahead. I don't
Oh
know
my
if that
God, we're
music
getting
is
shot in the script tonight.
copyright.
And that's happened here before. It reason why I do this is because I know what it felt like to be stuck where I was. In hell, not able to escape. I felt like I was in like this nonstop merry-go-round of money, drugs, money, beatings, occasional sex with my trafficker, watching one of my friends die.
She keep bringing that part up. She miss it.
Just this horrible wheel I was on, and I couldn't get off of it. So this is what I think when I reach out and I see different women that are working, that are being trafficked. I think of myself, and I remember what I was thinking in my mind, and I didn't want to live anymore.
You wish there was an Annie that came into your world back then?
Yeah. We can ask them if you want. Who gets all their money?
Hi guys, you want to get a picture?
I can ask them. Hey, girls. Girls. Hey.
I ain't trying to answer no questions.
Hey.
Hey, I'm looking.
How are you guys doing? Thank you.
Did I ask you a picture?
Oh, you know what? Listen, I was going to ask you guys a question. What's up? Do you guys, are you guys entrepreneurs yourself? Like, this is your gig, right?
Oh, we work at the Flamingo. We have the last show over there.
Oh, okay. I didn't know because some of the girls, they're not real.
Yeah, some of them depends on the street, but we're the legit ones.
Yeah, because I didn't know
the
that.
real ones.
It just depends on who you talk to. Some of them go like independent, they call it, so they just kind of like do their own.
Okay, so thank you. So I have a question because some of these girls, because I used to be a call girl on the strip, and you guys know what a call girl is?
I don't.
Prostitute.
So it's someone that goes on calls, and you know those guys that are passing out the cards?
Right, yeah.
So they're passing out cards, and in 15 minutes or 20 minutes,
they know what it
said
is.
that they're not part of any weird thing, but they said that there's other girls that are doing this, and they're soliciting clients. I believe them. I don't think they're working. There was no tattoos on their bodies, and they seem kind of like
tattoos ain't always the
innocent and
identifying
pure,
marker.
you know, like I could tell that they hadn't been like damaged or raped yet or anything, you know what I mean? Like, I just can tell that they were being fairly honest with me.
All right.
So that's interesting. Today when we were out, we saw a lot.
Day shift.
Day shift?
Yeah, day shift.
Right now, not so many.
Yeah, they're probably at dinner or they're waking up taking a shower right now.
Hey, on that note, y'all, I'ma holler at y'all later, man. I just wanted to get back on so I could see that shit, because that shit was crazy. But, yeah, man, I'll catch up with y'all next time. Peace.